Made smoother than your smoothest criminal. Shamo, about that money, what we get into. Shamo, about that money, get residuals. Shamo.
Yes. Yes, 2 times. Y'all know the vibes though. She like, they go. She like, they go. Okay. Okay. That knock. What it do, people? You're now tuned in.
Popovich.
Popovich
TV.
TV.
Oh yeah.
We live, we rolling, we unscripted, we authentic, that feeling back up in here one more again. So if it's your first time, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. To everybody else, you already know. Tony, there was no other way. We in the end game now. And we is in the end game, people. And we in the end game because AngeL ReeSe has been spinning in the clip, and rightfully so, these last couple of days after her and the LSU, beat Caitlin Clark in Iowa in the national championship. Like, your wrist bling bling, my shit bling blah. And a lot of people was in the uproar, or some was in the uproar. Obviously, Caitlin Clark wasn't in the uproar. She is a trash talker. And a lot of the talk was around, was it sportsmanlike conduct? Was it over the limit? And that's with the hand in front of my face and you can't see me. And a lot of people has been talking about John Cena. Rewind. Tony Yayo, was the first person to do it in the 50 Cent video. And even, for the younger folks that don't know, even John Cena, when he was on the Tonight Show, he gave the credit to Tony Yayo and came up and told the story of how he started doing it. When he seen his younger brother do it, he thought it was ridiculous. And then he said, I'm going to do it on TV. And his brother did him. All right, with that out the way. Number one, athletes, whether they male or female, they're going to talk their shit. Especially if they winning and you've been talking shit and it's a back and forth. So was it egregious? No, it wasn't egregious. A lot of people need to fall back, sit down, have several seats, and, sit this one out. I do want to address, though, the people that was calling her pieces of shit and woo and the white dude. I don't remember his name. I'm not going to say his name because I don't remember his name. But I do know Wallow and Gilly from the $1 Million Podcast, they did address it. I guess there's some type of business going on with them or whatever. He was like, nah, we independent. Let's get that clear. We ain't under nobody. Like Don Corleone, you under us now? He like, we ain't under nobody. He said what he had to say. I stand with him. But Gilly got a lot of pushback, got a lot of flack. Because at the end of the video, while the video was going off, he like, we love you, such and such. And again, I don't even remember his name. And a lot of people was like, they not feeling that. But with that being said, people was trying to come at her, et cetera, but they had no smoke when the white girl was doing it. And y'all know me on the channel, hip hop, sports, interviews, entertainment, stuff like that. We bet on sports and this is what we do. I don't watch women's sports, however, so I didn't watch the game. I did see the clip, spinning in the clip on all of the big sport networks, you know what I mean? And since then, she came out, she said what she said. She's like, I'm doing this for all the little black girls and, all the little black girls rock and black girl magic. And nobody should, and I think you should be unapologetically yourself. And to some degree, I agree with that. Let's get to the beef with the first lady, though, right? Because it was supposed to have been, Joe Biden, the president, him and his, lady, him and his wife. They did their brackets fill out, and I didn't do none of that. I've done it a few times on the ESPN, et cetera, but I haven't done it this year. A lot of people fill out these brackets, and the person who kind of like made it famous, in my opinion, for it to be done in the White House and make it a spectacle, to make it cool, was Barack Obama. My president is black. My Lambo's blue. And he used to fill out the bracket, etc. And he made it cool to chime in on the sports while running the country and being a leader of the free world. So I guess Biden, he was his vice president at the time. So he's fully familiar, fully aware, and he just carried it over. I guess they didn't pick LSU, so it was like kind of looking at them with the side eye. And before the championship game, Miss Jill BiDDeN was supposed to have visited both locker rooms or wanted to visit both locker rooms. And I don't know if she visited Iowa because according to Miss ReeSe, I don't know if she went in a locker room, but she ain't coming out locker room. So it was kind of like smoke, like y'all didn't pick us. And, you know, I'm not knocking her really for, I'm going to say having animosity. I'll say building up something or looking for any nook and cranny to build some motivation off, to give you that edge to push you over the top, because we know that athletes use any little thing that they feel to get them over the top, to get them an edge. Like, oh, you slighted me? Oh, you said I'm not a good free throw shooter? Or you said I can't do this? I can't do that? Then I'm going to show you. Oh, I hear you talking Stephen A. Oh, I hear you talking Charles Barkley. Oh, I hear you, you know what I mean, Skip Bayless or whatever it is. I'm going to show you. And, you know, or other players, or they bigging up other players that came out at the same time you came out into the league, and you're not getting the shine that you feel you deserve. So now it's challenged. So I'm not really mad at her for that. I'm going to say it was immature or nothing like that, but, you know, she is black. They got the black girl swag. You see them in their locker room. They was all the way turned up. And then when you look in the Iowa locker room, they was listening. I don't even know what song they was listening to, but apparently they wasn't getting hyped up enough. And when they came out, they lost by 17. So this is what I will say. Because when you look at the comments of a lot of these posts, obviously a lot of people is rocking with ReeSe. They bigging her up, and myself as well. What I will address about being unapologetically yourself. There's nothing wrong with being yourself. I honestly, absolutely believe everybody should be true to yourself. However, when it comes to being yourself, if you're in a public forum or you in a place where other people occupy, you do have to be mindful of other people, because you have to be respectful. And I'm saying that to say this, and this is just a side note. Maybe this won't apply, but this is the analogy or the example that I want to bring forth, and maybe you can agree or not agree. People that's of the alphabet community, right? They come to the gym. Men. Let's just say that the men. Some of them come dressed looking like women. Some of them come with the most craziest, outlandish stuff on. They being true to themselves, right? They being true to whatever they identifying to be. But you still in the public forum. You still in there with other adults and other grown men that's heterosexual, women that's heterosexual. You still in there with other people. You still have to interact with other people because the world is big. The world just don't center around you. So even though you may be being true to yourself, if you coming in there with some thong, like for instance, I go to the gym, I work out. Part of the channel is motivation. You know what I mean? You come to this dude, came to the gym. He had like some shorts on or whatever, but he had some thongs over the shorts with some real colorful hair. Instead of working out, he kind of was just like dancing, doing some dumb buffoonery shit to me. And it's like, bro, we get it. You gay. Or you whatever you identifying at, you want to be a woman. All right, cool. That's what you want to be. Be you. And like Ghost and Ray, you're going to come out in your own way. But it is other men here who don't want to see that. That's working out. And so it's still rules and regulations. You can't come to the gym like that. So I think somebody went to the front, told management, woo, they came and dressed him. You know what I mean? And he had an attitude, but you in here with other people. So even though you being unapologetically yourself, that doesn't mean you have a right to infringe upon other people while being yourself. There's nothing wrong with being great in your lane and in your field, but still being humble and being down to earth, because under God, we all, should be humble. But with that being said, in the comments, you had some people saying, she giving off the Sha'Carri Richardson vibes, and she's kind of, giving off the arrogant vibes, because now she's spinning in the clip. And she a young lady, a young sister, 20 years old. She got her whole life ahead of her. Like, she got a lot of living and do before she dies. She ain't got time to waste. Let's make it. So I'm rooting for her, just like when I first heard about Sha'Carri Richardson. Rooting for her. I didn't know nothing about her, etc., until you start seeing them spin in the clip. And so some people was like, she need to be humble. She need to tone it down a little bit. And then people were like, why she got to tone it down? Why she got to do this? That's the problem with y'all Negroes and, in slavery. You was the, woo, 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 and And I'll say this. Telling somebody to be humble or tone it down a little bit doesn't mean that you're trying to block out their light. Doesn't mean you hating on them. Doesn't mean you jealous. It just means that in general, life has a way of humbling us all. And we all know what it's like to lose as we get older and we got to go through life. You're not going to go through life unscathed. Nobody's going to go through, excuse me, nobody's going to go through life unscathed. So what we saying is, or what I'm assuming some of those people were saying, because I'm also saying, do you be true to yourself, be authentic, but be mindful. You know what I mean? Just be mindful, because we know that social media, attention, you know, being everybody's darling has a way of doing certain things to a lot of people. Even if you see whole grown men running to the internet talking crazy, doing things that's crazy, wilding out crazy, all for the sake of look at me and me and and validation. I think it affects women more, you know what I mean? But nonetheless, it affects both men and women, especially if you young and you could be impressionable and you still got a lot of living to do. And because you're young and now you in the public eye more than ever before, if you make a mistake, you're going to be critiqued. You're going to be judged. So I think people were saying that, you know, be easy or just be mindful. Don't be over outlandish with it, over ostentatious, and, you know, don't be so unapologetically in yourself that it's like fuck everybody else and you're going to do what you're going to do, say what you're going to say, and be how you're going to be. Now, I don't think that's her attitude or her stance when she said that. I just think people was coming from a sincere place, and that's how we should deal anyway. Most of the time, you should give somebody the benefit of the doubt. But anyway, this is the last thing I want to say as far as Miss Jill Biden and her comments of wanting both teams to come. Because we know one white team is predominantly white and one is predominantly black, right? Like you could just tell from the locker room scenery before the game. You already know what it is. And I don't know what song they was dancing to, but they was all the way turned up. And the other one was singing like some Z100, you know what I mean, type of song. But this is what I want to say as far as Miss Jill Biden. Although that's never been the practice at all, and it shouldn't be now. Shouldn't be no, second place prizes and no second place, participation trophies, as they say. But this is what black people should pay close attention to. If you haven't been paying close attention for the last decades or, how many ever years it's been. The other, they gonna stick together. The other, they're going to make sure each other is all right, even if they wrong. And the public eye is going to be a united front. So that's all she really wanted, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And she put her foot in the mouth and she made a mistake. She shouldn't be crucified for it. But is it a surprise? Like when the beat get put on, are you really shocked and amazed? And that's a Bismarck reference if you ain't been following the channel. I'm not shocked and amazed when you put the beat on that she decided to say something like that this particular year. But what I will say is should give us, but you black, you should look at it and say, they always somehow find a way to stick together. And with us, we always give each other the side eye. We don't want to work with each other. We don't want to build with each other. We don't want to pray with each other. We don't want to get through the storm together. We rather be dolo and get through it on our own. And you may go faster, but you probably won't go further if you're by yourself. And she did that because those people represent her. They look like her and her daughters, her family, her sons, or whoever they got. I don't even know, you know what I mean? They look like them. The chicks in the LSU locker room, they don't look like them. So they want to give them that opportunity too, even though they lost. It's like, oh, y'all got to the championship, and even though you lost, I think they both should come. They both played well. And from what I was told, it was a hell of a game this year. The women's tournament had the most ratings and the most views. And, I don't really watch women's sports. I watch Serena, but, other than that, I ain't really watching. It just doesn't float my boat like that. But I hear this year the ratings was through the roof. And hopefully it continues. Hopefully more women women Patreon that business, being how they always complaining that they don't get the credit that they deserve. Maybe if they had more people supporting, more women supporting, then maybe they would. But just put that in the back pocket, folks. If you're black or if you know what I mean, melanated, they going to stick with each other. They going to do what they can do, even if it means breaking some of the laws or bending a little bit just to get their people in the door. When Sadak X said, if my crew don't get in, then the X makes an exit to the rear. I'm out of here. Don't front on my brothers. I take care of them before I take care of others. And we start adopting that more in the black and brown community, then we would be strong off. But you know what it is. It's your guy, Popovich. Y'all was just tuned in. Popovich TV. We live, we rolling, we unscripted, we authentic, that feeling. Back up in here. One more again. Yeah, kid.